Hello. Hello. Hi. Sorry about there. What is going on? Wow, wow.
I'm here. I'm here. Sorry about
I'm
that.
like, hi there, everybody.
Uh-huh.
Hi.
Uh-huh.
I'm like,
You're like, where'd
me.
you go?
Where'd you go?
And now I lost all of my plan. Oh well, that's okay. It doesn't even matter. Hello. Thank you so much for joining us today for Spicy Tea with Bunny and SB. We have so much fun with this show. And it's always very loosely organized because we run everything else in our lives. We don't need to run everything quite so tightly. uh, hey Eric, how are you? Welcome. uh, for those of you who do not know who this lovely lady beside me is, this is Sarah Beth Brown, and I love her a zillion. Sarah Beth, will you tell us what your scoop is, what your story is, and then I really want to jump into your 7 roles. So if you'll kind of intro those, and then just I'll give a little bit more. What I'd love to do is Sarah Beth runs this exceptional network that really helps women. So she speaks to women the way that I speak to men for a lot of things as far as exceptional relationships goes. So what she's teaching women are how to be a truly exceptional woman, wife, worker, parent, everything. And so I want to dig in with Sarah Beth as to how not only men can help discern what women they're meeting out in the wild have these amazing qualities, but how they can also pull them out in their women if they're already dating or married and wish to have a more exceptional, thriving relationship. So all that being said, Sarah Beth, tell us how your system works and who you are and how wonderful you are.
Yes. Well, hello. Thank you for that introduction. That's very nice of you. I started over at 40, and now I'm living an exceptional life. And the only way that I got here is to create this 7 roles framework, because I found that I was focusing too much in certain areas of my life, and that's, I will take the accountability for my previous marriage. I wasn't the only person that made it not last, but I took accountability for what I did, and it was a lot of reflection to figure out, like, okay, so I knew I wanted to have a long-term relationship again, but I didn't want to make the same mistakes, and I wanted to be exceptional, and I wanted to make sure that I held myself accountable, which no women does. The women don't do that, but exceptional women do. Rare, right? So I came up with 7 roles, and I'll go through them a little bit. The first one is corporate leader. Not all women do this. I totally understand that not all women do the corporate leader role. I get it. I respect that if you choose to be stay at home or what have you. I didn't. I chose to go into the workforce. And this is about being a good role model to other people and staying true to yourself, not having a work husband. That is an exceptional behavior. And I don't allow work to take too much of my personal life. So again, being an exceptional corporate leader takes work and diligence. It takes a lot of your time, but
yeah.
Hey, I'm paying child support. What do you want me to
do? Which, something that I appreciate, and I think that is something that you and I balance out really well, is I am like super into being a stay-at-home mom. Like it was my best job ever, all the things. And you are the powerhouse, like you truly are, like this exceptional executive powerhouse woman. But both of us prioritize bringing the best version of ourselves to our husband, to our family, and not allowing the outside stuff to interfere with that. So I love that you and I kind of get to yin and yang that. so that you can see no matter which kind of career path you choose, it can all be exceptional.
Exactly. And the 7 roles, I created it as a reminder framework to say, okay, check in with myself. Am I doing these 7 roles? So the first one, corporate leader, I don't have a choice. Like that's every day. So I don't 5 days a week. I don't really have a choice there. But I do think about my career and stuff. Has my career suffered because I have kids or I focus on other? Yeah, it has. And that's okay. I'm fine with that. The second role, matriarch, which what you were just talking about, taking your house into a home. Like how are you? And that's partly queen also kind of focuses that, and matriarch. Matriarch, like, how are you being an advocate for your kids? How are you looking at your kids? And I see you do this all the time, studying them and saying, how do I introduce them to things that are going to make them a more well-rounded person, independent, smart, aware of their surroundings? We have different children. I mean, mine is a nonverbal, very autistic, low functioning boy. He's 15, and his future very different than somebody else. Like when he turns 18, he's not going anywhere. He's not going to college. I have to figure out, and I had to reframe in my brain, what does success look like for him? Because it's not the same of what success looked like for me or what my parents wanted for me. So it was a reframe in the matriarch role. And then, we've got lots of people in the millennials and Gen Z who's like, oh, my dog is my kid. And they treat their animals as kids. That is just them, their biological need to mother, to take care of something else or someone else.
We're going to mother something.
You're going to mother something, right? And it is very rewarding to see your kids make milestones and to do new things and see them grow into their own person. And then you have to see, like, where did all the seeds I planted? Are they going to come to fruition? Are they going to be good? Like, I tried my best. Like and I've seen your kids are doing really good. So well done. Well, parenting is not for the weak.
It takes a village.
It does. So the other one, queen, house to a home, like, is marrying the matriarch and queen. You buy a house, but is it organized? Does it have nutritious food? Does it have all the things that people need? Is it a safe place? Is it a place where people can come and socialize? If someone were to stop by your house, everybody hates that, right? The random like,
remember when that was
prepared? Are you prepared to be like, oh yeah, come on in, like no big deal? That is all about the queen role, like, making sure that your house is this. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be spick span, spotless. I want people to feel comfortable, but right. I don't want them stepping over things. And, I'm constantly getting rid of stuff. I'm a frequent flyer at the Goodwill, constantly getting rid of stuff. So that's kind of that queen role. And
I love it.
I'm guessing you're there too. Like, I haven't been there.
Oh my gosh, I'm so good at getting rid of things. I'm like, if I don't use this now, I don't need it. If I need it in the future, I will repurchase it. I do not hang on to things, period.
Exactly. I am the same way.
My mother just absolutely just shudders a million times. I'm like, well, then don't ask me help with cleaning out your closet, because there's not going to be anything left. None of this shit fits.
If I'm in my closet and I go to wear something and I'm like, automatically into the Goodwill pile. Like, I'm like, it's not going to make me happy, and I'm not excited to wear it. And I'm like, oh yeah, like this is going to look cute, because that's my number one job, is to look cute.
I used to have 3 layers in my closet, and the top hanging layer, I would put the stuff that I didn't think that I wore anymore. And if I ever pulled it down to the middle rack because I wore it, then it was worth thinking about. But if it stayed up there for an entire season, it was out. I had like a whole hierarchy system.
Good for you. That's great.
That was a great closet.
That sounds like a good closet.
It was.
Oh, that's funny. So you've got matrix, you've got queen, you've got corporate leader. Now athlete. Athlete is all about like being fit, right?
Which
My
you are
exceptional,
great at.
well, I mean, my exceptional husband puts out there is like, they can be crazy, but do they look good naked?
Yeah.
That's the bar I've got to meet. But it's not only about are you fit physically, because you got to keep up with your kids and you've got to model good behaviors for your kids. Are you eating well? Do you have the right food in the house? I don't have ice cream in my house. I don't have snacks that I know I'm going to binge. Like my kid has snacks, but I don't have lots of those extra snacks, lots of protein and such. Getting your blood work done, making sure all the levels. I mean, we talk about those all the time. The hormone levels.
Women our age love to talk about hormones. We just love to talk about it, but it's because it's all encompassing. It's all
everything. And I know when I'm out of it, like I was out of my thyroid medication, my energy level and my mood. Holy cow! I was like, I can never run out of that again. I'm like,
no.
I don't like being that dependent on a medication. But I noticed, and I cycle all the time. I do try to cycle all the time, but that athlete role is internal, external, and mental.
I love it. Yes.
The mental health piece of it. Being competitive with oneself, not having bad sportsmanship, like all of those things is kind of in that athlete role, and making sure that you are, putting a good amount of time into looking good, feeling good, all that modeling.
Yeah. I love that.
The next one I struggle with, you probably won't think I struggle with it, but I do, is the angel role. And the angel role is like, how do you show up for your friends, your family? This is one that I check in a lot because I find that I get into my corporate and I get into being a mom, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I haven't talked to my friends in a while.
Yeah.
I reach out to them and ask them, how are you doing?
Yeah.
And you get so busy. And again, this 7 roles framework is a reminder to myself, okay, Angel, have you asked your mom, like, how's your dad doing? Have you asked your girlfriends that you don't see all the time? I have one up in Flag that I just reached out to yesterday. I was like, how are things going? I know you started a new job. How is that going? Like, you have to, if you don't put into these relationships, you're not going to get it back. And I've cycled through friends, and your friends, where you put your energy into should be people that reciprocate it and value your time that you are pouring into them. If you don't value your time, this was a really good test when I went back, we traveled back to Illinois. We went back and I said, I couldn't really tell everybody that I was coming because I didn't know how my son was going to handle it. So I was like, I'm not going to make plans. But there was a couple people I reached out to last minute. I'm like, I know it's last minute. Any chance we can get together? And they were so excited to see me. And when they introduced me to like their kid or their husband or whatever, or when they gave me big bear hugs, I'm like, I should be pouring into this person more. Like I
love that. Yes.
I could feel it in my soul that they're like, I watch your stuff all the time. I see your social media. I see your videos. I know I don't comment, but you are great. And I love listening to you and hearing about what you do. I'm like, these are the friends I need to focus on, not the ones that come into town and don't want to see me and don't.
Yeah.
You and I, like, I was in town for just a little bit and we're like, okay, how can we see each other? We're going to get a protein shake, walk around the park and stuff.
And I was absolutely sick last time when you were in Illinois because I had just left Chicago and you guys got to Chicago. And I've also got kids up in Milwaukee. Y'all were in Milwaukee. I was like, I was just there. I was like, if I'd have known, I would have like delayed my trip or something. I don't know.
I know. We had no idea if we were actually going to get away to get to.
I love that. You guys look like you had the best time.
We did. And I should tell you, Milwaukee, we stayed at the Pfister. You've seen the Pfister Hotel, right? In downtown Milwaukee.
Probably.
Oh,
I haven't
it's
ever lived in
beautiful.
Milwaukee, so I'm not super
Okay.
duper.
They've got this amazing hotel that JD Vance stays at. And he stayed there the day we were there.
Oh, how fun.
And it was insane. I was going to the elevator and I'm waiting for the elevator and it opened and 3 snipers and their handler walk out. And I was like, and they hold the elevator. And they're like, here you go. And I was like, thank you. There's snipers. Like, you know what? It was insane. They were Secret Service everywhere. It was so crazy. Everything was blocked off.
And you guys just happened to be staying there.
We just happened to be. I was like, I want to stay at the Pfister. He's like, all right, what the heck is the Pfister? Oh, just the place any woman likes to hang out. Okay. it was pretty insane. So Angel, that was a really good test for me.
I love that. Yeah, that's a good reminder.
I have to remind myself because you get so, bogged down with everything else.
And I will say, I mean, I think that's an interesting kind of balance point because I think that women have a tendency to either pour too much into their friends. They put too much weight on their friendships, and their girlfriends, their gal pals are essentially number one in a lot of lives, no matter what they claim to be true. Their girlfriend's opinions will be more important than their husband's opinions and things of that nature. I think a lot of men especially struggle with women who value their friends more than they value them. And so I think that's an important balance. I always say that I have 9 best friends, and I mean it. I have 9 best friends because I've lived all kinds of places. I've met all kinds of people, and these friendships go back to junior high. I mean, I've got friends from junior high, from college, from young adult, from, every stage of life. And the best ones, like you say, stick around. They're the ones that feed into you and you feed into them. And that bond is never broken. And I kind of have a balance where some I check in with daily, some I go back and forth with daily, some are more like weekly or monthly. That doesn't make them lesser friends. Right. It's just kind of a coordination of communication. But the key being exactly what you're saying, feed into the ones who are feeding into you. Feed the souls of the friends who are caring and nurturing to you also. And then you're not taking away from your husband or your, family, because you're bringing a nurtured version of yourself to that relationship as well. So this angel role is so important. And I think that you do a fantastic job of it. But I could see how weighing against everything else, it's kind of hard to find that perfect balance point sometimes.
And I've cycled through friends, and some friends don't like my honesty, and not all women like accountability. I mean, we all. That's
oh God, no! Oh God, no!
So I like to find other women that enjoy the accountability. I mean, I've had friends in the past where I'm like, I want to get a 6-pack, and all of a sudden they stop talking about their health goals with me because my goals are so unrealistic compared to where they're at. I'm like, well, they're for me. They're not about you. But hey, whatever. I've got new friends. So we've got 2 more roles. One is entrepreneur role. And this is one that not all people do, but I think that it's a state of mind of sharpening your skills. Is there a side hustle that you can, do something with? Being mindful about money, especially as a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
There was that viral post around, I spent $200 on a birthday gift, and my husband was mad because he makes all the money. And I'm like, you do need to have a budget, and you need to make it go and make it last. And are you making things from scratch? What's in the budget? What's not in the budget? I meal prep every week. It's that entrepreneurial mindset of, are you building your skills, learning new things? I'm about to go into my bread era, by the way. So I'm gonna
I
try and learn.
love this plan.
But like
I
that,
can't wait till you bring me some.
but like building those skills. I mean, it goes into
Yeah.
the other roles, but it's like building those skills and what can you do as a side hustle? Like what else can you contribute into the financial goals of you and your spouse?
And I
So
think
that's-
it's important. I think it's important what you're saying. Like, even if you're a stay-at-home mom and maybe you don't have a side hustle, it's about being fiscally responsible and kind of having an understanding of what that looks like for your household. So not everybody's going to have a side hustle. Although I hardly know anyone anymore who doesn't, but you
Right.
know, it's like I feel like more people have like 18 jobs than just one anymore, but you know.
But I mean, I watch some. I'm a TikTok. I love watching TikToks. I watched this one TikToker, and she shows what she preps for the week every week, and she makes 2 loaves of bread. She makes all these egg bites. She makes vegetable trays. She's a stay at home, but because she does all of those things, that saves them money. That
Oh, it's huge.
That I mean, there's so many those skills that she learned saves the family money. I mean, it's so valuable. So, it's definitely it's a way of thinking. But you're right. I think everybody has a little bit of a side hustle. I mean, I've gone through lots of phases. Like I'm going into my bread era, but I went through a marmalade era, and I made all.
And it was delicious, and it made me so sad when I got to the end of my jar because it was so good. I don't think I'd ever had a homemade marmalade before, but that was phenomenal.
And part of my angel role, I love to gift my marmalade to other people. Right now, I'm gifting eggs to other people, but and I will gift bread if it goes well. But like that, they all kind of connect. Now the last role you and I talk about a lot. I don't necessarily publicly talk about a lot, but it's goddess. It's it's sleeping naked. It's dressing cute for your husband, dressing the way that he likes, not what the internet says is modest and what you should look like, but what are you wearing? Like my goal when I come down for a date, if I come down and he looks at me and he goes, "Damn, you look like Sex on a Stick," I know, boom, I nailed it.
That's a winning look.
I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to rethink this outfit. But if he says you look like Sex on a Stick, I feel like I nailed it. But that's like I want him to be proud of me on his arm. I want to be, I want to feel confident in that. That's why I'm fit, so that I can wear whatever the heck I want to wear.
Yeah.
And that's part of that goddess, and that builds that sexual tension of I'm here to look good for you. You're looking at me all day, all night long, and you're going like, oh damn, it's gonna be a good evening. It's building that sexual tension and you don't have to be half naked.
Right.
I've worn some bodycon dresses that are just, everything's covered, but it's like he's like, whoa. That's the look I'm looking for. Like
exactly. We're not actually leaving.
Right, exactly. He's like, no, back upstairs. Like that's then I know I hit the nail on the head. So I do think that goddess is one of those that is a little uncomfortable to talk about for some folks. And I know that's partly what we're talking about today. So
and it's our favorite topic to talk about.
And it's our favorite topic. Man, I love to talk about this topic.
I love it. Okay, so let's go backwards because we want to start with the sexy sex stuff. Let's go backwards. Let's talk about for the goddess role. What do you think some good recommendations are for men who are dating and looking for a goddess? What do you think some tips are for men who maybe have a wife who used to kind of fulfill that role or embrace that role, even if she didn't call it that? Make no mistake. Like these are just our names for them. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's what everyone's calling them, or everyone means the same thing when they say these roles or these names. But like maybe he's missing the goddess in his wife or his girlfriend or his longtime love. What do you think the best ways that to get women to soften back into these roles is, and let's start with goddess, because that's the sexy stuff, sex part, and like that's the glue.
And I would say that it's usually if your bedroom is dead, and we've talked about this before, there's some other reason, right? Like there's other reasons why your bedroom is dead. But what you can do for your wife to make her feel sexy, I mean, my husband has always said, and you look so pretty today. When I don't have makeup on, when I'm dressed for work, which is pretty modest. It's like, you look really pretty today. Like I can tell by the way he looks at me. It doesn't always have to be overly sexual. Just so that I know when he looks at me, he doesn't see my wrinkles. He doesn't see that I don't have makeup on. He doesn't see that I didn't curl my hair.
You and I don't have any wrinkles.
No. Oh no. No.
We only have 18 million smile lines.
Right.
You and I are like the most smiley people on the internet. We're like, when we get together, it's just like.
I know. Exactly. But I do think that it starts a little bit with the noticing the beauty of your wife and making sure that she hears that on a more regular basis. But I was talking to I had a chiropractor, and he was like, oh, you always dress so nice. And, my wife doesn't dress like that. And I'm like, well, do you take her places? And he's like, what do you mean? Do you take her places that she has to dress nice?
Exactly. It's true.
The dates, like the Tyler on X talks about how we have a date every week, and we get away for a night every couple months, and like it's very purposeful. And unfortunately, you have to kind of be very purposeful to say, on this date we are going to go out and we're going to do X. You have to schedule. It can't always be spontaneous like you were in your 20s or your teens or whatever. You do have to start to schedule it and set the expectation that every week we're going to go out. And it can be a walk. It can be, whatever it is. But if you want her to dress sexier and wear the dresses and the sundress and the whatever, you've got to take her to places to wear that.
Right. You have to give her a purpose. And I will also say, like, I think that when we as women get kind of out of that mode, when we've been living in leisure wear for far too many years at this point, and then our husband does say, well, I tried to take her out and she still wore, sweats and a sweatshirt and leggings or whatever, or a big baggy shirt and da da da. And I think he needs to voice that, not expectation, not in like a hard iron fisted way, but kind of like, let's go to the movies on da da da, and I want you to wear blank, or I'm going to take you out dancing.
Or I'd really love to see you in that mint green dress that you look so good at. You look so
exactly. Like, find a way to say, this is what I want to see you in, and this is why. And more often than not, she'll do it. Now, if she doesn't do it, she'll either bring you a reason why she's not. Like, the reality is I don't fit into that dress anymore. I haven't fit into that dress since I was 19 years old, but thank you for reminding me. Or, I thought it was ready, but it needed to be ironed or dry cleaned, or it's just like a belligerence, like a disrespect. And then we have another problem on our hands, but at least then we know the problem. And, and maybe the reason that she's been wearing sweats and leggings was because she felt like a fat cow instead of the way you see her, which is sex on a stick, So I think that helping men say, hey, not only am I taking you out, but here's what I would love to see as my arm candy that night.
And they have to dress nice too.
Yes. Yeah.
We notice all the time. We're always overdressed everywhere we go. Even in Scottsdale, which is like you would think you'd go out and everyone would be dressed to the nines. They're not.
Yeah.
Like, we look and people are in like athletic shorts and no collared shirts. And I mean, it's just, we need to set the expectation and also come prepared to to be dressed nice, to be like, you're gonna look nice, I'm gonna look nice too. Like, I'm on your arm.
Well, and maybe one way that men can convey that also, or communicate that, is like going ahead and a few days ahead, set out the outfit, the slacks or jeans or suit or whatever that they're planning on wearing, so that the woman not only sees that he's putting some forethought into this, he's actually thinking about it. He's going to look nice. I love that shirt on him. That, suit always makes his eyes pop, whatever. So I need to kind of match that vibe. And then there's kind of that, oh shit, I need to get my shit together, even if she wasn't already realizing that, this night out was that kind of night out, was going to be a nice event to look forward to. And it gets that anticipation going, like the first dates used to,
Yeah, totally. And to your point about, if she's not fitting in it anymore, or she's gained weight, this is a difficult conversation to have, right? Yeah. And this kind of goes into that athlete role. Like, how do you have that conversation? Yeah. And I think that the angle is being fit is your best anti-aging.
Oh, yes.
Fit and stay fit, so that when our kids are in college, we can go do the fun stuff on our own. I want to go hiking, or I want to go biking, or I want to go on this adventure, or I want to go, whatever it is. Like, the fitter you are, you're gonna have more active years than if you weren't. So
exactly.
To me, that's the angle. It is difficult. I mean, there are some people out there that say, well, I'll just tell my wife that she's 10 pounds overweight. Great. Good for you. That doesn't work for everybody.
Well, and I don't know about you guys, but like in our world, Fort Worth thinks I weigh like 109 pounds, whether I weigh 109 pounds or 129 pounds. And we're in fitness, but he's like, you look great. And he thinks everything fits me all the time. Bless his heart. It's sweet, but he also sometimes will be like, hey, why don't you wear that? I'm like, oh, fuck to the no, I'm not putting that on my body right now. Like, that would not be good for anyone, especially me. There are times.
We have weekly weigh-ins, and so when we both weigh in on different days, and we send each other screenshots off our app that shows we've got an in-body, and we send it to each other so that we're accountable of like where we want to be.
I love that.
So, but that's a layer of accountability that most
women are not.
And I get that. I mean, but you do have to, figure out, maybe you're like, hey, if, you get to this, if you get this fit or whatever, and you drop a dress size, I'll take you to White House Black Market and let's go for a shopping spree. And
exactly.
I love White House Black Market.
It's such a good store. It's such a good store. It's such an us store. So let's speak to then, let's go into the angel role, because we kind of segue there anyway, which is perfect. Like, if a man is seeing, listen, I think that there are genuinely guys who do essentially love their woman at every size. I don't, from a fitness standpoint, from a health standpoint, I don't think that's a healthy mindset to have. But at the same time, they love the person. And it's not about what her waistline is. It's about the human inside. I respect that. I get it. But men who see that their wives or their girlfriends or are seeking women who embrace this angel role, embrace taking good care internally, externally, and mentally of their health. Like, what do you think? How do you think that conversation starts? How do you think women kind of signal to men that they're of that mindset? And because I do think that women are also especially fond of kind of being in that era for a day or a week or maybe 3 weeks to a month. Like, most of us, just as a grand generalization, don't stick with the stuff like that, because fitness is hard. Nutrition is hard. Not drinking every day with your girlfriends is hard. Like, it's so much easier just to eat what's handy. It's so much easier not to go to the gym. It's so much easier to cancel the appointment at Pilates. It's so much easier just to go out with your friends than cook at home. Like, all of these things, and men are dealing with the consequences of that, right and left. Not to mention, and I'd like to add to this also, I always kind of have a wonderful love-hate relationship when our personal training clients get a new boyfriend. I'm like, damn it, they're going to gain weight now. Like, not only are you out eating and drinking and celebrating more so maybe than usual, where usually you have like the girl dinner and you have like a couple of crackers and some peanut butter and maybe a popsicle. You're eating real food. You're maybe having more cocktails than usual, heavy sugar, or beers or whatever. But, there's also that side of things. So for guys who are also taking girls out, and it's like, how do we help men sift through this angel role, this woman who really does care for herself inside, outside, and mentally?
Yeah, and I would, and I don't expect you to remember all these roles, but it's more the athlete role than the angel. Angel is like
athlete. I'm sorry, I just misspoke.
No, that's okay. No, that's okay.
I have them written down.
I'm sure you do. I know. There's like 7. Believe me, that's why I have to have them written down, because there's 7 of them and I forget them.
Seriously.
But it is a difficult. I can't say that I got the perfect way to do this, but it does have to be a priority in your life. So we have another couple that we hang out with frequently, and they want to get fit, and they tend to, they try to eat well and everything. They're not at the the way that we prioritize, like go to the gym every day and what are our macros of this meal? I mean, not everybody has those conversations. I get that, but they had these pickleball gift cards, and we have our opinion on pickleball, but I was like, it's important and we should support that they want to be active.
Yeah.
And this would be fun. So as a couple activity, instead of going out to eat, we ate at this place, the Chicken and Pickle, but
sounds like health food.
We also did, I know it was not healthy. It really wasn't. But we also did an activity.
Yes.
Right? Like
yes.
We did an activity. And what I chose to eat was like steak and, pretty high protein. And we didn't really eat much else that day, or protein shakes or whatever. And we saved it. Like, that's the way that we look at the day. Of like, okay, we're going out tonight. Let's, in the middle of the day, let's not eat full lunches. Let's save all of our calories for later and whatever.
Yeah.
It's a way of thinking. It's a way of life. If you want to be with somebody who is active and it's a priority, take them on active dates.
Right.
Like this friend of mine, we usually get brunch every once in a while. And I'm like, let's just get coffee and walk. She's like, that'd be great. You can support your girlfriends by doing activities instead of always feeling like you have to go out to eat, which is easy and it's fun. And you're right. You drink your calories. I mean, it is difficult. I try to track everything now, because then it really forces me. Every once in a while, I certainly go off the rails and I see the number on the scale and I'm like, whoa, what are you doing? Time to track what you're eating again, woman. Like,
it makes all the difference.
It does. But you do it, and you have to lead by example, and that's not always going to work. You're going to have the sabotage. I've seen the relationships where one is like, I'm going to get healthy and I'm going to be more active and I'm going to eat better and I'm going to do all this. But then their spouse is like, well, I'm going to still cook bad foods and I'm still going to not be active and I'm still going to. And
it's almost like they push harder into the opposite, just to kind of whether by design or just kind of subconsciously, it's like push against that.
And I do think that if it's a girlfriend, if it's someone you're courting, that's the right time to set the expectation.
Yes. Exactly.
Because 20 years down the line is not the time to do it.
Yeah. And I think that is exactly where, like you're saying, you can still go out to eat, but maybe go out to dinner once a week instead of every time you get together. Instead, go to the gym, get a workout, go try something new, do rock climbing, do, kind of one of these activities that you can kind of learn together or whatever too. There are all kinds. I was about to list.
Or host your dinner. Host the dinner. Invite people over and be like, we'll cook, you bring whatever, and then you're spending less money and it's probably healthier.
Exactly. Yeah. There's so many ways to kind of ferret out the women who are down to at least think about having a healthier lifestyle and make healthier choices, because it makes a huge difference in your pregnancy. It makes a huge difference in how easily it is, generally speaking, to get pregnant, how well your pregnancy goes, how you recover from it, how you don't gain 50 pounds as soon as you get married, or don't gain 50 pounds with every child that hangs on forever. Like because I know that when you were pregnant with your son, like that was a totally different time of your life. That was a completely different era. But didn't you struggle with weight loss a little bit after your pregnancy? I
definitely ballooned up, and I was walking a lot. I was almost diabetic, I definitely I had some issues, and after that it was a little difficult, but we were his father and I were very active. Like it was a priority.
Okay. So I think I'm misremembering, but
what I struggled with after pregnancy was, I need to always be with my baby. I can't leave my baby alone with its father.
Yeah.
Well, that's crazy. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Like that. I had to keep control. Like I was like, I got to take control. I'm the only one who knows how to do all this stuff. He doesn't know how to do any of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. If you let him.
You let him. Yeah.
So I held myself accountable with that one.
That's amazing. So do you mind if we talk about because we've talked about goddess, we've talked about entrepreneur, we've talked about angel, even as friendships, we've talked about athlete. Let's talk about queen, because I think that queen is one that really, really, really gets misconstrued. I think that archetype gets misconstrued. I think that just kind of mentality gets misconstrued. I have opinions about women who call themselves queen or princess or all this kinds of things, but it's not in the vein that you're talking about. So I want to be really, really clear about this queen role in this exceptional kind of lifestyle.
And you've been in these homes, right, where you walk in and it's like mass chaos, like nothing's organized, and there's just like piles and piles of stuff, and you're like, wow, I did not think that this house would be like this.
Yeah.
Or you walk into the kids' room and it's just like mounds and mounds of all these toys, and they're like, yeah, they don't even play with this. You have to teach them, oh, you don't play with this anymore? Great. Why don't we take this to the Goodwill? And then somebody else who's less fortunate, or someone else who doesn't have the money to buy this new like we did, will be able and get them into that cycle. That is a really good cycle. But that's does everything in your house have a home? So when my exceptional husband says, where's the whatever, I can go the hall closet, third, whatever. Why can't I say, what is that? Shelf?
Yeah.
End of day. Third shelf down on the right, behind I should be able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
When we go to the grocery store, we have a digital list, and we put things on the list so that if we run out of something, we put it on the list so that if one of us ends up at the grocery store, we can pick it up. Like we don't run out of things. We have stuff in the house. We don't have excess of stuff.
Right.
And when I do, I'm like, I need to get rid of this. I'm constantly going through it. Are things expired? I need to get rid of it. Like going through, you ever open somebody's refrigerator and you're like, why do you have 50 million condiments? Like, there's no way that they're not expired.
Woo, I'm not okay. I'm not
Right?
okay. And it's hard then to even eat at those people's houses. I'm not like a super clean freak. I'm not a germaphobe, but still I'm like, oh, this tells me everything I need to know right now.
Or if they have animals and there's hair everywhere. I'm just like, you guys, come on. This place is a home.
Yeah.
Like, you are setting the example for your kids for their future. When I see
that's what I go back to all the time. And I know I talk about it on X way too often, but it's like you are building a legacy that you will be remembered for generations and maybe more, depending on the kind of life you are living, whether you are thinking about it or not. This home that you're creating, this life that you surround yourself with, the way that you treat people, the way that everything is going to be remembered. That thing that you just said is going to be remembered. That thing that, that way that you behaved is going to be remembered by someone. So whether you give it actual thought or not, you're building your legacy every moment of every day. And if you're not putting thought into that, what the fuck are you doing? Like, shame on you on every level.
Exactly. And there's a question in the chat about like women who proclaim themselves as queens, princesses. You will never hear me say I'm a queen.
Right.
Like, you'll never hear me use any of my roles and be like, I might label it that in my post or something.
Right.
But the women that are going around saying, you better treat me like a queen, and I'm a queen, and I'm this, and I'm that. Like,
I have so many problems with those women.
They're not.
Yeah.
I hold myself, and I was having this conversation the other day with a friend. I hold myself to unrealistic expectations. And I wouldn't, even if you were to come to my house, you would be like, oh, this is put together. But in my head, I'm like, it's not clean here. I need to redo this. It's constant. It is constant for me. I would never say that I've mastered queen. I've never say I've mastered goddess. Or it's just, I will never proclaim that. And I think women who run around saying, you got to treat me like a queen, you got to treat me like a princess, you need to buy all this stuff. No, you're materialistic and you're immature.
Right, right.
If your man says that about you, take that as a compliment. Like,
right.
When my husband says something to me like, sex on a stick, or he's complimenting me, or he would never call me queen, or he might call me a passenger princess, because he's certainly, I am. Man, I turn off the brain sometimes. Like, I'm just like, where are we going? Which a good man does to your woman. Like,
yes,
turns off her brain. Like, and one of the things that I need to articulate better is like the shape shifting between these roles. Right?
Yes.
Roles, like getting into goddess role can be very difficult. When I'm coming out of corporate leader mode, it takes me a little bit, and I sometimes use that voice with my husband, and he understands. He's like, are you still at work? Do you need to talk something out here? Getting out of matriarch role for me can be very difficult because of the type of child that I have.
Sure.
The other roles aren't as difficult, but getting into goddess can be difficult. Like this shifting between roles can be difficult.
Yeah. Yeah. And I will say, I mean, just to talk to Queen a smidge more.
Yeah. Please, yeah.
I think that one of the ways that you can tell if a woman that you're dating is someone who really takes her kind of environment carefully or, thoughtfully or whatever, is I always say this, if you pick her up for a date and her house is a disaster, and by house, I mean the part you can see from the front door, if the living room, if the entryway, if kind of what you can see from the front door, probably the dining room or a study or some kind of family room is a mess, she, number one, doesn't embrace this role. She doesn't really care about what her environment says about her, and she doesn't respect you, like, period. Because if she's not respecting you enough to care what you think about her when you walk into her house, that's a red flag, And I would say, there are certainly ways that men, because, I say this with great caution, but my mother, I'm an only child. She was a stay-at-home mom, best job in the world. She used to be very meticulous about her cleaning. My father still will kind of go, yeah, that was great. But then at around 50, she just there weren't even, it was she and my father in the house. My dad keeps up with his own stuff. But she kind of becomes not a hoarder, but she likes stuff. She likes trinkets. She likes shopping. She likes, and there's never really a place for any of the stuff that she decides she wants, which is why I'm always in charge of getting there and cleaning stuff out. But so it's not gross. It's not danger zone, but it's just not a super priority for her any longer. And so my father's answer to that is, okay, I'll hire a housekeeper because,
right.
It has to be done. If she's not going to do it, I'm also not going to fight with my wife of 50 some odd years about when the last time the kitchen was deep cleaned or something of those, something along those lines. But there are times when life is long, right? There are seasons where things like these different roles get to be a little overwhelmed, for us as women. I'm not saying that they don't for men as well, but they do in different ways. I feel like women are much more emotionally driven. We're much more want to over have to for the most part. So these different kind of areas of life kind of take their turn overwhelming us. Sometimes my fitness goals, I have way too many fitness goals. And I'm like, well, how do you think you're going to fit 5 hours worth of fitness into this day? That's ridiculous. How do you think that you were going to do 3 different major events in this one day just because of your current fitness goals? And it's just not realistic. But there are different times when different kind of areas of this, whether it's your sex life or whether it's your mothering or whether it's your housekeeping or whatever, your homemaking, your friendships, do get to be a little bit like a tsunami and an overwhelm. So I think that's where, like you said, outsourcing some stuff comes in handy. If your girl is struggling with her fitness habits, say, you know what, let's hire a fitness professional for 3 months, just 3 months,
right.
Get you back on your feet, give you the information you need. I know that usually you're self-motivated. I know you know what to do, but sometimes it's nice just to not have to give it any thought. Just go in, do what you're instructed to do, motivated to do, and get out, or let's try something new. Instead of doing weight training, why don't you do Pilates for the next period of time or whatever? And that's just a fitness example, but this can be done in essentially all of these areas, except maybe matriarch. But but even then, it takes a village to be a great mom.
And you have to build that village. And I do think that if you are going to have a wife, I'm specifically for women, if they're going to work. So because I work, we outsource the cleaning.
Yeah.
My husband puts the dishes in the dishwasher. I always put them away, but we share some of the household chores.
Sure.
Because we're both working. He doesn't expect me to do all of the traditional stuff along with all of, being a corporate leader, if your wife is going to work, you do have to reframe a little bit.
Right.
And if you can't always make dinner, or she can't always get the breakfast done or whatever, you do have to figure out, how are we going to divide and conquer? How are we going to help each other out? Because we're both working. And I do think that is a reframe that more couples need to do. But it's not just, well, the man needs to come down and he needs to change diapers and he needs to do this and no, it's divide and conquer. It is a team effort. It is, what are we all going to do to make sure that we have the environment that is productive for everybody, whether it's good for the kids, good for us. You can outsource healthy eating, right? You can get a meal plan depending on your funds and how much money you have. Or I need Sunday to meal prep. Can you take the kids? Yeah, great. Let's divide and conquer. There is this, if you are going to be dual income, then you have to rethink how you are doing all these things. If you're a stay-at-home mom, you do a lot more of a lot of the traditional things. And maybe if you have the funds, you get to outsource some of it. But not everybody has that. I've not always had somebody come and clean my house.
Sure.
It's not always been in the budget.
Yeah.
I appreciate it that we make it a priority, because then I would be really tired. I would not have energy for a goddess role.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I love that. Okay, so here's my thinking.
Yes.
Because we've been getting lots of questions, comments, things of that nature. I'd like to kind of back up through those. And talk and answer. And guys, if you have any questions, throw them in there, and we will get to them. Let's see.
There was one question about where you meet women. Like, where do you go to meet women? And I don't know how you think about this, but I like sports. So meeting somebody at a sports bar would be right up my alley. Or I did like triathlons, meeting other people that do triathlons, or hiking, getting part of a hiking group and meeting. They don't have to be you don't date the clone of yourself.
Right.
What is that activity that is social and that you can go and meet somebody else, like something that's unique that you would like someone else to be able to talk to about, right? Like my exceptional husband plays D&D with a certain group of people out on the Twitters. And I tune in.
Of course he does.
And he doesn't do it all the time, but he does. And then it's interesting, but I'm like, I can't follow. I don't understand the dice. And I bought him these multi-sided dice things, but I don't, and that's okay. That's great. Like he doesn't want me to talk to him. Like, it's not that important to him that I talk in D&D. I'll listen and I'll watch some of his live streams and I'll, whatever. But that he didn't want to get with somebody who was a D&D person, right? There's plenty of people out here who are like, I play D&D, 3 or 4 times a week. Like I would love my spouse to be in my guild. Or I know that word. Like I know that word. But, maybe that's where you would meet somebody, but you do need to put yourself in and don't, I know that your husband says this and mine does too, like proximity. Like women will put themselves in proximity to you if they're interested. So put yourself in the environment of a place that you like. Raves, go to raves. If there's a girl hanging out by you, well, she probably wants to talk to you. Like that is one of those subcultures of, oh wow, we could go to raves together and we might like the same music, and whatever it is, you like to go to the symphony. You do need to put yourself in the proximity of where the other people are that you might be able to have something in common with.
This is just one more of many things that I love about you. You're giving all of these examples and I'm like, you give examples that I would never think about. I'm like, raves and D&D? What is that? How old are we? But it's true. But I'm like, a wine bar or a golf club, and you're like, raves, D&D. You made me blow snot bubbles.
That's
that
funny.
was I'm like, I have this picture of me at a rave, and even the other day, Fort Worth bought for 4th of July, bought me this off the shoulder, like 1980s flag shirt, and he was very tickled with it. And my 19-year-old daughter called him and was like, "What is mom wearing? And did you buy it? And do you think she's 17?" Because it's just like, so you're like answering this amazing question about like one of the best ways to meet women, because I'm not in college anymore. And you're like, go to a rave. And I'm like, go to a wine bar.
Music is a great place to meet people
is.
that's similar to you, whether it's going to country music,
so
whether it's going to rock music, whether it's going to symphony, whatever that genre is, there is a place you can go to put yourself in proximity of other people like it. Rave, they have like an app. I mean, that's a crazy subculture, which we participate in every once in a while. But it is like a subculture. Like, not everybody likes that music, but if you do, then you should put yourself in proximity of. And like, I joined like a rave girls group, and so these girls get together and they go to raves together, and there's always a subculture that you can get into.
And I will say, like, smaller venue kind of stuff where you can talk, where it's not just sitting in a big concert, or even at the symphony, because I meet people at the symphony quite often. And if you just go to the huge concert hall, that's a whole different experience than going to the smaller kind of events that the symphony hosts or where they perform. So like you say, every kind of music kind of has its own little kind of thing. But I say the smaller the venue, the more personal, the more kind of exchanges there can be, the better.
Yeah, great point, for sure.
For especially for meeting people.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. I'm going back up to the top because I had to find that question. So this is what insights do you have regarding the low birth rates in USA and even other countries like Japan? I don't have an opinion on low birth rates.
Well, I do think that this has been in a kind of the casual sex and hookup culture has increased. And so people are less motivated to like have families, like, I think there's going to be a pendulum swing with this.
I agree.
But I do think that you have to date, if you're dating for marriage. I mean, obviously we always talk like, what are you dating for, right? Like, are you dating to just have fun, or are you dating for marriage? So I think it'll be a pendulum swing back on that.
I say that I do tease my kids. So my kids are 27, 26, and 19. And I tease them because I got married at 19. None of them are married. None of them have given me grandbabies yet. And I'm like, listen, you guys are behind. I don't know what is going on, but somebody better give me some grandchildren soon.
Well, don't worry, that epiphany phase, it'll kick in soon.
I am. I'm like, 2 of you are in real relationships. It's time. Let's get married. Let's get this ball rolling. Come on, people. So yeah, I see it in my own backyard. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Camilla, a known American. Oh my gosh, can you read this? Can you see the screen?
I see it.
Let's see. Tribe while men are off hunting. How did we deviate from that? Our world is more divided than ever.
I mean, this is interesting because I walk in my neighborhood a lot with my son.
Yeah.
And I have built, I don't know everybody's name, but we wave, how you doing today? They know my son. They know that he's different. And I've actually, like, people recognize us because we go out walking and stuff. And people who have dogs go out walking. But I do think that this concept of, a lot of people got into this vagabond kind of lifestyle of like not like hunkering down and building roots. They're like, I can work from anywhere, so I'm going to go work from a van by the river, down by the river.
Well, and people very much have the mindset of, yeah, I live here now, I guess, as long as the job holds out, or something along those lines.
Right. And they don't put effort into knowing their neighborhood. And I have, you know, and I've done some, you know, political canvassing in my neighborhood and volunteered that way. And that helped me meet more people. But I do get out and walk the neighborhood. I enjoy that. I enjoy the, you know, everybody knows my white Jeep in the neighborhood, right? There's that crazy lady blaring music and dancing in her car. So, you know, they know me in my neighborhood. I do think that it's something that as a woman, I want to make sure that everybody knows who my son is. So if for some reason he were to ever get out, that they would be like, wait a minute, he's not supposed to be on his own. Like, what happened? And I do like knowing other people in the neighborhood. And like, if I see something, I'll go knock on the door like, hey, did you know that the water is leaking at the front of your whatever?
Right.
But I agree. I think that our neighborhoods have become less neighborly in a way. But and just in their houses longer too, so that you don't get the new families.
Yeah. And even just as a society, we're just so much more divisive than we ever have been before. I think that maybe we were divisive before, but we weren't so vocal about it. And now everyone is putting their opinion about everything everywhere like it's the new law. So it does make it harder to have a neighborhood community. It does make it hard to have, you know, I
realize that we say that we're divisive, but like we still have lemonade stands in our neighborhood, and I go up and I get a lemonade, and I can probably tell when people are maybe different politically than me, but it never comes up. Like, there are some people in my neighborhood that have certain signs in their front yard that I'm like, but I still say hi to them. They still say hi to me, even if I'm wearing my flag and stuff. So I think that social media tends to exacerbate this a bit, make it a bigger deal than it actually is. There are some things on the internet that I've seen in real life. A lot of it I don't.
I wonder sometimes, and I say often, if you didn't see it on the internet, if you didn't see it on the news, if you didn't see it on social media, would you even know this thing was going on?
Right.
Like this thing that you're so upset about right now, would you even be aware of it? Like, it wouldn't be impacting your life. It wouldn't be ruining your day. It wouldn't be, you know, giving you nightmares or whatever. You wouldn't even know it was happening. And that's a blissful place to be. Ignorance really is bliss, but especially when it's stuff that is exactly like you're saying, so blown overboard by just the confluence of information.
Yeah, it is. And I'm sure in certain areas it's more, but I don't see a lot of it.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, okay. Eric wants to know about your thought on cheat days.
Well, he said chest days.
That one day a week where you do go out, say, for ice cream. Cheat days, chest days, you know.
Wow.
We like all of them.
I don't really have necessarily a cheat day, but I don't put a ton of rules on. I mean, I weigh in every week, and if all of a sudden it starts trending in the wrong direction, I really have to dial it back. But when I'm a good girl, I get a bag of Skittles. So,
and then, of course, your husband's like, accountability equals girl kryptonite, which
I
goes
know.
into
For most, yes.
yeah.
But I mean, I do try. I love sugar. It's certainly my downside for sure. I do red grapes in the freezer for like a little sweet treat. I have my yogurt. We don't usually have ice cream in the house. We have protein ice cream in the house. I do have a Ninja Creamy that I've used in the past. We'll go out. Like I do like gelato. So we look at it as a date, as a
Yeah.
every once in a while, let's go to the really good gelato place, or let's go for frozen yogurt. You know, it's more of an activity and such. But my weekly check-in, my weekly weigh-ins, I look at it and I go, am I trending in the wrong direction? If so, I need to really cut back on my sweets. That I know that's the problem because I love it.
This is a good question. Sarah Beth, what are your thoughts on women only wanting the goddess role, not the other roles?
You can't. There's no way to do just goddess. Like the only roles that are where I see as somewhat optional, career, corporate leader, because if you were a stay-at-home mom, I get that. I get that, you know, maybe you got married at 19 and you stayed at home and your man went out and great. If I would have met my exceptional husband that I have today at that age, I probably would have been stay at home and we would have had like 10 kids because.
And I will say, and I always say this with stay-at-home parenthood or motherhood, you run it as if you were an executive. It is your career. It is your job. And you don't do it haphazardly. Like,
and you
I
learn
think
new
it's
skills
so
all the time.
dangerous to be a stay-at-home mom now with all of the distractions that are available. But you have a schedule. You run it like your home is your executive environment.
Yes, for sure. And you're always learning new skills and you're always looking at like, do I have everything organized the right way? Maybe I need to change something. Like, yes, you should run it that way. If I were to do over and I was just graduating college, I would have still gone into the corporate world and I would have started working on a side business.
Mm-hmm.
I saw some of my high school friends, they went into the corporate world and they had really good careers. And then when it was time to have a family, they said, okay, I'm a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
They've been the best stay-at-home moms because to your point, they run it like they would a project, a business, or whatever, with a little bit more emotion. But they run it that way. Yeah. So but I would have had a side hustle so that when I did stay home, I could still have a bit of that building a nest egg, contributing to the house, the home financials and stuff. That's what I would have done. That's how I would redo it if I went back. Corporate, have a side hustle, stay at home, have my side hustle. That's how I would have done it if I had to redo it. You're frozen. Are you with us? Oh, geez. It's the Sarah Beth show? No, it's not the Sarah Beth show. Where?
Sorry.
That's okay. I'm like, you're frozen. I'm like, Sarah Beth show here. Hi.
Yes, I'm all for that.
But yeah, I don't think that you can. Goddess is more than sex. It is the building desire. It's the what is my husband's fantasies that I can make true. It's the how do I communicate my own desires? How do I communicate? So it is a lot more than just the sex. But you can't just be goddess. Like you have no substance. Like if you're going to be exceptional, you need to have 5-6 of these roles.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Let's see. Let's see. Yay or nay? A woman who celebrates that much, the cocktails, the lavish feast, signals hyper consumerist mentality.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
but I see that with a lot of like I want to say millennials got hit the most because of the environment we created with social media and the internet and the ability to consume cheap crap so easily. And I get caught with it. I have impulse buys and I buy things that I shouldn't. But we built it into like almost a personality of
Yes.
consumerism.
Yes.
And there's so much they can make so cheap that it's like, oh, why not? It's $5 or where? Oh yeah, just you don't always need to buy something. But I know a lot of stuff. But it's if you're getting rid of it. The women who celebrate all the time, women like to do like birthdays, right? Like women like to celebrate birthdays. Like a man could really care less about the birthday.
And I'm guilty of this. Birthdays are your personal holiday, Sarah Beth. You don't have to share it with anything. It can go up to a month and a half if need be. Like
we celebrate birthdays in this house, and when I say to other people, I go, you should do something you love on your birthday.
Yeah.
Exceptional women are not selfish.
Yeah.
Exceptional women don't focus on themselves. Like when I want to buy something, my husband is do it, just spend the money. He's like, you never spend money on yourself.
Exactly.
He forced me to spend money on myself at times. It made me uncomfortable. But he made me, and I was like, okay. Like when I go do some shopping every once in a while, White House Black Market, and I, drop $200-$300. He's like, good. And I'm like, should I? You never do this. You never spend this much. Just do it. But I think that there are some women who go a little bit extreme, like, like the bachelorette parties in Mexico for 4 days, and you're spending like $3,000 on. Come on.
And everything has a theme, and everything is color coded, and don't even get me started. That's back to the princess and queen vibe. Like,
yes, it's very materialistic. It's very consumer. It's Instagram worthy. They're very focused on this kind of what it should look like and making sure everybody understands.
Yeah. And I think that goes back to the queen role also, where it's kind of like you walk into homes that you don't want to sit down in because it's more about what the information it tells about them. Like it's more meant to be photographed for Architectural Digest than actually lived in.
Yes.
And I think that there's a lovely balance there between clean, well kept, but also able to be lived in. You don't feel uncomfortable sitting on the couch. You don't feel uncomfortable, making yourself at home. Or if you're visiting someplace that's so meticulous that you're almost afraid to use a dish, or
it doesn't happen anymore though. I mean, growing up, we had the room that we didn't sit. It was like the adult sitting room.
The formal living room. It was pristine. Yeah.
We had one of those. I don't see those as much because they went into that whole open concept versus the individual rooms.
But now the whole house tends to be like that with this kind of Instagram worthy.
Sterile. It's very sterile.
Very sterile.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that stems from necessarily, but it's like, I don't know how to avoid it, because there are men who are dealing with a woman who really just care about what this looks like to other people versus how it feels to the family who's inhabiting this space. That gets to be a real rub. I have a very good close girlfriend who came from nothing she's an executive powerhouse like you. She's also married to an executive powerhouse, and their house is one of the most beautiful in Fort Worth. But truly, when I go in there, it's kind of like, this is beautiful, but can I, you know, like, I feel like I need a coaster for my own body, not just my glass.
Yeah.
Like, how do you live in this home? This isn't, but she came from nothing. Like, there's something there. And she's I will say, in case she ever sees this, she's also the most generous human being on the planet, you know, with other people. But like, it is kind of interesting. It's like, where does it stem from? How do you kind of, if you have a wife who cares more about what this message sends to the outside world than what it's like to live in this, how do you manage that? And I feel like more and more men, and I would say more and more men, especially of a younger generation that are coming up with nothing but social media, are dealing with this more and more.
Yeah, and that's the house to a home. Like, is it a home? Because to me, in a home, you sit, you talk, you live, you can, you know, cuddle up on the couch, and it's hard also though to complain about such a well-kept home, because if they're a power couple and they're hosting all the time, or they have dignitaries, or they have clients, or anybody who comes to the house, there is a level of facade that they have to keep up. And
exactly.
So there is the balance. It's the intent. The intent behind is the intent to show off to the Instagram, look at the new whatever, or is the intent, we have clients come over almost every weekend, and
that's an important point. Yeah, I like that.
So intent changed my mindset a lot within the last 6 to 9 months, is zeroing in on what is the intent of my action? Like, really, why am I doing this? Am I truly doing this because I believe in it and it fills my soul? Or am I doing this or saying this because it puts someone else down, or it, you know, not that I usually do that, but the knowing, being very honest with yourself, which accountability is not what women really like to do, but holding yourself accountable to your actions and the real intent of why you did something is a life hack. At least it has been for me.
Yeah. Whew. We covered a lot of good topics here.
Right? But I know you had a bunch of posts that you were like, we could probably get to this. I mean, we've gotten through a lot. I mean, we've
essentially handled everything that was in a post, but more organically through this than having to watch some idiot talk about being, you know, an executive and not having time to date, or not giving a shit what boys think. It's like,
you know, something always, if you're 7 roles, if you have all 7 roles and you're like, I want to do it all, most of the people on the internet go, well, something's going to drop. Like, oh, you're going to put your kids in daycare, or, oh, you're going to, you know, not have sex with your husband. Something's going to drop.
Yeah.
Just because you're a stay-at-home doesn't mean nothing's going to drop.
Very true.
Because I've seen plenty of stay-at-homes get fat and, you know, not raise their kids to be good kids, and not pour into their families and their friends, and they're not nice people. And there's always something that can drop.
Yeah.
But you should be holding yourself accountable to unrealistic expectations or an exceptional level. And your spouse should be holding you to an exceptional level. Like, they should be striving to unrealistic expectations. That's the power couple dynamic. But just because someone's corporately, I mean, does something fall in my world? Yeah, things. That's why I created the 7 goals reminder to remind me, like, have I been hitting all these? How am I? I never think that I'm a really good mom. My husband reminds me.
Everyone else knows that you are, but that's just your
that's
sweet
the whole
little
point of unrealistic expectations. Is I will never I will exceed everybody else's while never meeting the ones that I set for myself.
Well, and what are your thoughts on with that in mind? Because I agree, we are to hold ourselves accountable, and I say that for men and for women. Our men are to hold us accountable, and I would say in that way, in a way that they know that we can also receive and don't just
Yeah.
fight against, right? Like, and that's different for every woman. Some women
Exactly.
take critical stuff better than others. But what about the reverse? What about, how do you think it's best, if you think they do, that women hold their men accountable? Because and I'll just preface this by saying, to me, I think the safest way for women to hold their men accountable is to be their biggest cheerleader, to be their biggest motivator, because I feel like it's so easy to kind of get into a nagging role, that, and so I'm just curious what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, this is I'm not going to say it's difficult, but it's certainly different for every man.
Mm-hmm.
My previous marriage, I did a honey-do list. I would say, can you do this? And then didn't get done. Can you do this? Didn't get done. Then I started making a list, still didn't get done. And it was like, then you feel like a nag. You feel like I'm like, okay, I'll just do it myself, I guess.
Yeah.
In my marriage now, I can say, hey, this needs to get done. He does it like so fast. And if
before you get the sentence out,
right,
I can
I'm
see
like,
that.
I have to be careful about what I say, because if he will act fast. So I have to really think, like, do I really want this done? This isn't just, don't pontificate. You need to really think. But he does it right away. We do. And if I remind him, he'll be like, oh, you're right. You asked me to do that. I'm going to write that down on my list. I've got it. Okay. But I know his intent is not, I didn't do this purposely. It's just, he doesn't see it the way I see it. And so I have a lot of grace, because I know the intent behind. But as a man, and I get to ask the question, like, well, what are the man's roles? What are the man's roles? And it's not really my audience. I don't really do that. But I do think that protector and security is part of the man's role. If I were to say to my husband, I don't feel safe in our house.
Oh my God.
What did I do wrong? What do you mean you don't feel safe? And he would listen, and he would take action. He'd be like, okay, I need to put extra locks. Okay, I need to, take you to learn how to use your sidearm better. Oh, I need to, whatever it is, he would take that seriously and go, we need to do something, because he's listening to me. And I think if women are very honest, like actually honest, not just being a bitch, like that's the part I don't like that women do. It's like, well, you don't provide enough for us, and you don't I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about really being honest with your husband about this, how I feel, and having an honest conversation. But there is this, women just, man, can they be bitchy and manipulative? And I've been there. I've been that girl. Like I've grown over the years. But I do think that women need to be honest with their husbands about if there's something that they think that they are supposed to be taking care of that they're not, saying, I think that this is in your area. Do you think it's in your area? And if they're like, oh no, that's not something that I was worried about. It's like, okay, well, I'm worried about that. Is this something to take on? Like, but it's in a very intentional, I'm not trying to put you down way, just this is the way I'm feeling. Are we on the same page or not? And, I just, if my husband came to me and said, we're not having enough sex, which if he said this to me today, I would be like, are you kidding me? Because, but anyways, you've seen my tweets. But I do think that if he were to say that to me, I would go, okay, what's your expectation? Like, where am I would hear him and I would know that I need to do something different and then we're not on the same page. If he were to say, why don't you cook anymore? Why don't, there's no food in the house. I'd be like, you're right. Oh my gosh. Like if he makes himself something to eat and that I didn't prep, I'm like, are you okay? Like, do you want me to make you a sandwich?
Yeah.
What did I do? I feel like I failed. But again, I hold myself to unrealistic expectations. I do think being honest and having those conversations.
Well, and I do think that's, to your point, I think that's where women who, number one, hold themselves to some level of real accountability, but also women and men who, really have their own set of expectations for themselves and their relationship, and they have a pretty open form of communication, not just talking at each other, but actually like taking action on words that are being said and having a real mission that's shared as a couple and as a household. Then you're not feeling attacked every time something like this comes up. Every time he says, hey, I don't feel like we're having enough sex right now. Or you're saying, I haven't cooked anything, or, the house isn't really as up to my standards right now, and no one feels under attack because everyone's got that shared mission. Everyone understands what the expectations are, and everyone understands that sometimes it's hard to keep all the balls in the air at once.
Yeah. I do think that more women are, and there's some comments in the chat, deflecting, blaming others, being the victim, not taking accountability. And I just find that ugly. Like, yeah. I just find that immature. I do think that people are maturing a lot later in life because we haven't, and that's a parenting problem, because parents did not allow their kids to experience consequences.
Yeah.
They were younger so that they understood, how it works, or helping people label their emotions. Like, I know that's a little bit of therapy talk, but are you depressed or are you just sad?
Right.
Like, helping people, we've just, the social media has made people, oh, well, my ex was narcissistic, and oh, my ex
everyone was. Yeah.
Everybody's a narcissist, and everybody, whatever. And it's like, nah, are they really though? You're using all these therapy words that make it sound so clinical and, this is what they were, but it's not. And that's a parenting problem. I do think that the lack of strong parenting has dwarfed or these people's maturity levels. Like, they just haven't matured, which is why they're not thinking of kids till later, and why they're not doing things. They're partying too long and too much casual sex, and no one talked to them about the consequences of any of that. Like, oh, you want to continue to have abortions? You're going to regret that. Like, you're going to regret that. You're going to sleep with, 100 men in a night. You're going to regret, that takes a little bit of your soul. Every time you sleep with somebody, you're giving up a little piece of yourself. At some point, you're just an empty shell. Like,
yeah.
There is the consequences. We've made things so easy, and we've shielded people from the consequences that it just makes them ugly and difficult to deal with.
I do hope that the pendulum swings there also. And I feel like inevitably, it has to. I feel like we're, as a society, we essentially self-destruct if it doesn't. Yeah. And I don't get into super political realms, make no mistake, but I do think that there's a certain point that once the people who are kind of in that more selfish phase right now mature, and they start having their children, and they realize, the first thing that my middle child, who, is a middle child, the most problematic of any children ever, inevitably, but, they moved off, they, kind of had a life for a second. And the first visit home, the first words were apology. I have been nannying for a year now. I apologize for this and this and this and this. And listen, I had good kids, but everybody has their stuff, right? And it was that maturity level that hit around 19 or 20, because they had actually gotten out into the world and had some experiences and realized, where they needed to mature. And so maybe even if they're having children later, even if they're not maturing until a little later, when they do, they go, oh, that's what my parents were talking about, or that's what that lesson was supposed to be teaching me, or, whatever. So hopefully then they pass down better lessons to their children. I always hope that we learn the good and the bad from our upbringings, so that we do the best we can with the tools we have, moving forward.
And I will also say that the impact of our TV programming, right? Like, there's a lot of negative nagging and complaining and everything on these programs, like the Housewives of Orange County and the Housewives, whatever. Yeah. I had a friend who had that on. I was at her hotel room and we were getting ready or whatever. And she had it on the background, and I was like, "How do you listen to it? Like, it's making me physically ill. You need to turn this off." And she's like, "It's just noise in the background." I'm like, all they do is complain, and it's toxic. Yeah. And a lot of the internet and the TikToks and the word is a lot of people complaining, and it becomes very normal for people. And there's a comment in the chat about seeing the negative and not focusing on I focus on the positive. I focus on intent. I focus on what I can control. I went really deep into focusing on stoicism. So when I get kind of frazzled, or if I'm like feeling like a victim and I'm just like getting angry, I'll go to YouTube, find the Stoic video, and I'll just listen to Stoic quotes. I'm like, what can I control? What can I focus on? Effort, my attitude. But there's a lot of complaining on the internet and a lot of complaining on the TikToks and in these TV shows. It's not the Huxtables or some of those other Family Ties of there was a problem, there was a consequence, we worked through it, we got better. That's a lot of what those shows were. It showed
there was always a lesson in those. There was always a lesson.
And there was always growth. And there was always showing consequences. And now we've got lots of stuff out there without consequences. And it's like, well, I can just do whatever I want because there's not a consequence. Or it'll work out. Everything will be fine because I don't have a consequence.
Exactly.
We could talk all
Preach, sister.
Ever. We could talk.
We love talking. We're so good at it.
I know.
We're the queens of talking.
Queens of talking. Yes.
Oh my goodness. And we've gotten so many good questions or comments, or, just people part of the conversations. And I will say, for those of you who are really communicating in the chat, we would have it on the stream, because a lot of this really is just like great conversation, but then it covers our faces up, and it's just too much to think about. It's too much to figure out.
We're too pretty. We're too pretty.
Exactly. You are. I love it. Thank you, guys. If you do not already follow Sarah Beth and her man Noble Brown, do so, because they put out great stuff on X. Now, do you guys do anything on YouTube or any of the other socials we don't these days?
We've tried to do podcasts together. It's not as entertaining as our online posting.
Oh my gosh, Fort Worth and I love doing the podcasting.
Oh yeah, no, it's the dynamic is just not the same. He always
I love it.
Just likes to look for an opportunity to share half naked pictures of me. Like seriously, some of the pictures. I'm like, no one
He
wants
is
to see
good.
my butt. Like no, not. He's like,
Well, that's not true. If you look at the algorithm, that's apparently not true at all.
clearly.
Especially when you're, fireman carried over his shoulder. Well, he's got a cigar in his mouth and it's all dark.
Yeah, it's why I have to continue to work out because he just loves to take pictures.
I love it. Exactly. Fort Worth, Eric says that we need to get Sarah Beth on one of our shows.
Yes.
I love this plan. Thank you, Sarah Beth. Thank you, all of you who have tuned in today. Yeah, we could talk about this forever. I love it. And her man. Yes, of course, Eric. Until next time, we used to do this show regularly.
I know.
And now it's like, hey, should we do something?
Hey, I'm free Thursday.
I love it. But we love to talk about all the sexy sex stuff, all the things, all the male and female dynamics. Yeah. So whenever we can, we will be here.
Yes, we will. Look forward to it.
Y'all have a great day.